you're a Bitcoin bull, but you're also an outspoken critic of Donald Trump. So help me understand where you stand right now. Is it necessarily what's good for Bitcoin is bad for America?
Well, listen, I always, try to play it straight and call balls and strikes. I applauded the president at the Bitcoin conference in July of 2024 for seeing the need to have the right type of regulation in the United States. I think what people forget is that we're still dealing with the aftermath of Sam Bankman-Fried. So Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler were very close to Sam's parents, and they were inches away. You could ask somebody like a Tom Emmer or even Scott Bessent, the incoming Treasury Secretary. They were inches away from giving Sam margin approval on his cryptocurrency exchange. And so when that blew up, and it was also hurt me and impacted a lot of different people in the industry, the Warren Gensler team moved very hard against the whole industry in a very arbitrary and capricious way. And so it set the industry back years. And so you have to give President Trump and his team credit for dislodging that. And by the way, Fair Shake, which is the political action committee in the United States, they put lots of money into the campaign in 2024. I think they went 48 for 48 in different elections. You may know this, but $40 million came from a variety of different PACs into the Sherrod Brown race in Ohio. He was the head of the Senate Banking Committee. He was a friend and acolyte of Elizabeth Warren, very anti-crypto. He got dislodged from the Senate Banking Committee. He was a senior guy there. And so I think the political forces of the cryptocurrency industry are here to stay. And I think that bodes very well for the next congressional cycle, because we'll get what Jeremy's talking about, stablecoin legislation and more clarity on the rules of how we're going to run this industry.
It's really hard to understate the impact that the cryptocurrency sector, the cryptocurrency industry actually had on this election. So, Mooch, when you look at the...
Democrats wouldn't listen, by the way, Dan. I tried to tell them. Mark Cuban tried to tell them. They wouldn't listen.
So that's the question. Do you think the Biden administration missed out here by not embracing this industry? And how do you expect this relationship between this industry, the cryptocurrency industry, and politics to evolve moving forward?
So it's a great question, but I just want to give people context. So the president had to deal with Senator Warren. She staffed up the White House. She staffed the SEC. She put her people at Treasury and even at the Fed. And so even like in something like SOB 121, where they were trying to get the custody for the major money center banks of Bitcoin, Biden vetoed it, even though it had bipartisan support in the Congress. So I would say three quick things. One, this industry is here to stay. There'll be formidable money going into pro-crypto candidates. Number two, I think the Democrats have finally gotten the message, and I think you'll see younger Democrats joining Republicans in a bipartisan commitment to getting the right regulation. And then the third thing, and I think this is related to what you said about the president. My issues with the president were the unpredictability of the president. I didn't like the dehumanization of non-white immigrants to the United States. And, he has a tendency to say things that he really doesn't mean. Now, maybe he means he's going to deport 15 million people from the U.S. I hope he doesn't mean that. It would have a catastrophic consequence on the economy. So when you look through the crosstabs on the voting, a lot of people said, okay, I'm voting for Donald Trump, a lot of good policies, and the stuff that he's saying that I don't agree with, he doesn't mean. Okay, so this is sort of a weird, ironic thing about our political system right now. A lot of people, particularly Wall Streeters, they voted for the president, and they said, he really doesn't mean that he's going to get a special prosecutor and prosecute the prosecutors and these sorts of things. And frankly, I hope they're right. I want the president to do a good job. It's better for the world, better for the region, better for the United States if Donald Trump and that team create a prosperous, peaceful U.S. and try to spread that around the world.
One thing you know a lot about, Anthony, is the U.S. presidential sphere of influence and who's in Trump's inner circle. It's something that you and Kata Kay speak about on the podcast all the time. It's great, by the way. Musk, Sachs, Ramaswamy, what type of influence will these people have on Trump and in crypto regulation moving forward?
Well, first of all, they're exceptionally smart people. Elon Musk in particular is arguably the entrepreneur not just of our generation, but of all of global history in terms of his success in capitalism. And so I think the president will respect him. But what ends up happening, unfortunately, with the president is there's one spotlight. There's a lot of lights in this studio, Dan. You like sharing it with your guests, but the president doesn't like that. Okay, there's one spotlight. It's on him. If you're on stage next to him grabbing some of that light, it's not a good move for you. And you can see J.D. Vance has basically disappeared since the election, because he's gotten the notion this is the Trump show. There's one star in the Trump show, and it'll be better for me and better for my relationship with Donald Trump if I take a back seat. And so what I would say to those three people that you mentioned, you're incredibly smart. You could have a big impact on policy, but just don't step in front of the president, particularly when the lights are on. He doesn't like it, and they'll be hell to pay.